First, the Target 12 investigators take you inside the Mafia.
127 people are charged in a massive mob sweep.
This is one of the largest single-day operations against the Mafia in the FBI's history, both in terms of the number of defendants arrested and charged and the scope of the criminal activity that is alleged. Members and associates of La Cosa Nostra are among the most dangerous criminals in our country.
The announcement was made in New York. It includes the arrest of the alleged former longtime head of the Patriarca crime family and a reputed mob associate who was taken into custody in Rhode Island.
It all went down less than 24 hours after the Target 12 investigators reported a plea deal for another reputed Mafia captain, Anthony the Saint Laurent.
We have in-depth team coverage tonight. Eyewitness News reporter Walt Buteau has more on how these arrests affect the leadership running organized crime in New England.
But first, let's get to Target 12 investigator Tim White, who broke the story of Menachio's arrest. He's live outside federal court in Providence.
According to prosecutors, the alleged former boss is Luigi Menachio, also known as Baby Shax, the Professor, and the Old Man. According to court documents, he's charged with extortion and conspiracy, and that means he potentially faces 23 years behind bars. This is Target 12 undercover video of Luigi Baby Shax Menachio, the man federal investigators say was the longtime head of the Patriarca crime family. This mugshot from a Florida sheriff's office is of Menachio moments after his arrest Wednesday in Fort Lauderdale. He was one defendant of more than 100 in a sweeping national bust into organized crime. Attorney General Eric Holder announced the raid in New York.
Their alleged crimes include numerous violent and illegal acts, from murder and narcotics trafficking to extortion, illegal gambling, arson, loan sharking, and labor racketeering.
According to an indictment obtained by Target 12, Menachio was accused of accepting protection payments from at least 2 Rhode Island strip clubs, the Cadillac Lounge and the Satin Doll.
No comment. No comment.
Also arrested, Thomas Iafredi, an 11-year manager at the Cadillac Lounge. Prosecutors say Iafredi was the conduit delivering the money to Menachio. They say you're a bagman for the mob, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
In court, prosecutors allege Menachio would get a protection payment of $125 a day from a single strip club. Investigators say they seized $2,900 off him in 2008 as part of this investigation. Nationally, the huge sweep, described by authorities as the largest Mafia roundup in FBI history, targeted 7 mob families in Rhode Island, New York, and New Jersey.
Members and associates of La Cosa Nostra are among the most dangerous criminals in our country.
Iafredi was released on $50,000 unsecured bond. He was ordered to stay away from strip clubs and a whole list of known members of organized crime from Rhode Island and up to Boston. Now, we've learned Menachio waived his right to a hearing down in Florida. That means he'll be returned here to Rhode Island to be arraigned. We're hearing that could be as early as next week. Mike, Susan?
Tim, do we know why Menachio has been hanging out in Florida?
We do, Mike. I had a chance to speak with U.S. Attorney from Rhode Island, Peter Nerona. He was on stage with Eric Holder down in New York, and he tells me that Menachio was down in Florida. He was vacationing, if you will, and he often does that during the winter. We do know that he is an avid traveler. He wanted to point out and give credit to local law enforcement here. There were members from the Providence office of the FBI, as well as the Providence Police and the Rhode Island State Police, who flew down there to make the big arrest.
All right, and Tim, we know that the New England crime family wasn't the only one who was dealt a big blow today. What's the impact on the national stage?
Well, Susan, it's big. As you heard Eric Holder there, 127 people were arrested. But you got to keep in mind, he says about 30 of them were made members of organized crime. So that dealt a blow to 7 different families across the East Coast, particularly the 5 families in New York. And they pointed out, really, with the Colombo crime family, a lot of that leadership was arrested in this big sting. So it has a huge impact on organized crime across the country. And we saw some classic charges here, from gambling to extortion to loan sharking, and also some charges of arson and even murder. Mike, Susan?
All right, that's Tim White live in Providence. Thank you, Tim. Now